So, starting off, we're going to press the random SCP button. I'm currently on scpwiki.wikidot.com. Let's get started. Let's jump right in. What is going to be our first SCP reading of the night? Now, the website is a little slow. Here we go. SCP-1811. Item number SCP-1811. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1811 is contained in a standard locker at Site-68. Instances of SCP-1811-1 through 217 are currently stored in Room D308 of the Restricted section of the Foundation's library. Access to these items requires Clearance Level 3 and approval from the researcher in charge of SCP-1811. Description: SCP-1811 is a bookshelf measuring 0.8 meters by 0.8 meters by 0.2 meters. It is made of an unidentified type of wood and covered with brown paint and beige vinyl shelf liner. Books that are left on the shelves of SCP-1811 have a probability of fusing together and undergoing a cycle of replication, resulting in the creation of new books. Designated SCP-1811-X, where X is the number. Volumes created by this process do not present any anomalous physical properties, but they can contain potentially hazardous information. For the fusion to occur, two books must be left in direct physical contact with each other until they acquire a significant layer of dust. The two books must be written with the same alphabet, but not necessarily in the same language. If the two alphabets contain different diacritic signs, replication is still possible, albeit with a lower probability. For example, a book written in English can combine with certain French books, but not with any books written in Cyrillic. After the two books fuse together, the characters are shuffled to form a new, coherent text in any language that can be written with the alphabet used in the original books. The volume then replicates its pages, doubling its size in the process. It subsequently divides into two identical volumes that reshuffle their characters before dividing each into two different books. The net result is that the two original books will be replaced by 4 instances of SCP-1811-X, containing in total twice the number of original typographic characters. If the books are moved or the layer of dust is disturbed, the process will stop irreversibly. Cover artworks are not duplicated and are either lost in the process or used unchanged by one of the instances of SCP-1811-X. Volumes containing mostly photographs or illustrations are not affected by SCP-1811. However, fusion occurs with books containing mathematical and chemical formulas or tables and diagrams. In the resulting instances of SCP-1811-X, the symbols and lines are rearranged into different formulas and diagrams. SCP-1811-1 to 56 are previously unknown books acquired during the recovery of SCP-1811. SCP-1811-57 is the torn and charred front cover of an unknown book, Dissimulation and Vanishing, 101 Amusing Magic Tricks of the State Political Directorate by Asgaroth Zherinsky. The rest of this volume was not found and is presumed to have been destroyed. SCP-1811 through 58, SCP-1811-58 to 217 are books produced during Foundation experimental procedures. History. SCP-1811 was recovered from a second-hand bookstore, the Paper Pagoda, in Worcester, Massachusetts, in June 1995. The whereabouts of the owner, Adrian Boswell, are currently unknown. At the time of his disappearance, Mr. Boswell was being investigated by the Internal Revenue Service. It was discovered that he had published 7 commercially successful novels between 1989 and 1994 under various pen names, grossing approximately $3 million. The unusual details of his disappearance and the suspicious nature of books found in the Paper Pagoda attracted the attention of Agent Redacted of the Foundation. Mr. Boswell's diary indicates SCP-1811 as a possibly anomalous object. Addendum 1811. Fragments of Adrian Boswell's diary. This journal was in poor condition, and large portions are torn and burned. January 19, 1976. Manuscript rejected again. Why doesn't anyone like my novel? Why are they so mean? I keep working on the thing, and it's like I'm running around in circles. I sell books all day. You'd think I'd be able to write one of my own. Later, I can't find the Lovecraft Omnibus. The Wodehouse collection is also gone. I'm sure they were on the ugly little bookshelf in the back. I found 4 books I haven't seen before. One of them is a novella called The Shadow Over Blandings by Algernon Whitewood. Another one is a 3-page anonymous book titled Love Triangular Prism and Other Non-Platonic Solids. What the hell is that? Must be a joke from Towers. That, and the text is illegible from this point. January 24, 1976. Surprisingly, that novella is really good. It's a very strange mix of light humor and pessimistic brooding, but the writing is masterful. I asked around, but nobody's heard of the author. I wish I could write like that. The other 3 are awful. I'll give them to Gran for their outhouse. September 2nd, 1977. It happened again. Theories of dialectic simulation my ass. I never bought that. These books must be breeding. It's the only possible explanation. Undated. Stupid cat made the pile fall down. Now I have to start over again. So slow. I thought I could accelerate the magic by putting extra dust onto the books, but no success. However, by placing them vertically, I can do more at the same time. Another undated entry. Such a silly novel in my life. I'm trying to mate this one with my old Modern Physics 1931 edition. That should be good fun. This little bookshelf is a wonder. But where does this knowledge come from? I must be... And the text cuts off there. And the final entry, June 9, 1995. Illegible. Cat disappeared. Where's Towers? Cleaning lady is nowhere to be found. People won't even talk about her. Idiot. That said manuscripts don't burn. We'll see And the rest of the text cuts off there. Okay. Let's move on. Moving on to the next SCP entry. We have. Ooh. SCP-097-KO. Ooh, this is a very long one. All right, let's get reading. This one looks good. SCP-097-KO. Research on ecology and irregularity of Calassamia structura. Abstract. SCP-097-KO, otherwise known as Calassamia structura, is an anomalous insect species native to Virginia, North America. Taxonomically, it is closely related to the Promethea silk moth, Calassamia promethea, and belongs to the subfamily Saturnidae. The larvae of SCP-097-KO feed on human organs as they grow, and build large cocoon structures based on images of buildings stored in the host's brain tissue in the form of memories or imagination. The Foundation has periodically provided Class D hosts and large construction sites to maintain the population of SCP-097-KO. Post-containment. In this study, we have identified that SCP-097-KO adjusts its population size according to the surrounding environment, particularly the size of its habitat, and that it can successfully hatch and grow in a protein dummy with injected replicated brain cells. Based on these findings, we propose revised procedures that can significantly reduce the excessive resource consumption of the current containment protocol. Introduction. The current special containment procedures for SCP-097-KO, Calassamia structura, have been in place since redacted without significant issues. However, these procedures require the annual use of 25 Class D personnel, large tracts of land, and multiple staff, leading to severe resource wastage. The lack of thorough biological research during SCP-097-KO's containment meant that the current procedures were established based on rough empirical knowledge rather than the accurate research data on the SCP population. For more efficient containment, it is essential to conduct rigorous research to thoroughly analyze the subject's characteristics and revise the special containment procedures accordingly. Therefore, we have conducted an in-depth exploration of the biological and ecological characteristics of Calassamia structura and present our findings in this paper. This paper also serves as a memorandum from the Scientific Department regarding SCP-097-KO's containment procedures revision. Based on our findings, we have proposed a revised version of the current special containment procedures, which is included in the conclusion section of this document. We would like to take this opportunity to express our deepest gratitude to several individuals and groups who made these achievements possible. Our heartfelt thanks go to Council Members 052, who provided unwavering support and made significant contributions by actively participating in the research. To Dr. Bright and Dr. Kondraki from Human Resources for their approval to use Class D personnel, which required for the experiments. To the researchers at Site-19 who offered invaluable assistance with human experimentation. To researcher Haruyuchi, who not only contributed to the research as an investigator, but also ensured that language barriers did not hinder the research process and diligently translated this paper into 9 languages. And finally, to the members of the Ethics Committee and the Scientific Department's Paper Review and Approval Committee, who provided the final review and approval of this paper. Background information of SCP-097-KO. SCP-097-KO, Calosamia structura, is a species of silk moth that once inhabited a small area in the north-central region of Virginia, North America. Taxonomically, it belongs to the phylum Arthropoda class Insecta, order Lepidoptera, family Saturnidae, genus Calosamia, with the species name Structura. After securing a sample population, the extermination process was successfully carried out. As a result, there are currently no wild populations of Calosamia structura. The adult SCP-097-KO resembles the Prometheus silk moth, Calosamia promethea, in appearance, and does not exhibit any notable anomalies besides its reproductive method. After mating, the adult SCP-097-KO lays multiple eggs inside the body of a nearby adult human, hereafter referred to as the host. The larvae hatch and grow for 10.5 months, feeding on the host's internal organs, including muscles and digestive organs. Despite the significant consumption of the host's internal organs as the larvae mature, the host maintains normal vital functions and can easily carry out social activities. The mechanism by which SCP-097-KO maintains the host's bodily functions remains completely unknown, and there are no recorded observations of the larvae's activities and growth within the host's body. Once fully grown, the larvae move up to the host's head and consume the entire brain. During the process, the host experiences excruciating pain and eventually dies, with the remains of the body also being used as nutrients by the larvae. After consuming the brain, the SCP-097-KO larvae exit through a hole in the skull and begin their metamorphosis. The SCP-097-KO larvae that emerge from the host split into two groups, the excavators and the builders. During metamorphosis, the SCP-097-KO use cocoons to construct a structure based on a building the host previously envisioned. This appears to be a form of camouflage designed to help them survive the vulnerable pupation stage. During this process, all excavators die, but the builders successfully undergo metamorphosis, forming the next generation. Special Containment Procedures for SCP-097-KO. Before proceeding with the research, this paper will analyze the current special containment procedures to establish the focus of the study. The following is an excerpt from the Special Containment Procedures section of the current SCP-097-KO report copy. All wild SCP-097-KO specimens must be exterminated except for the 25 population groups in captivity for breeding. The SCP-097-KO Containment Breeding Wing, an auxiliary facility of Site-19, must always be maintained at room temperature, and each group must be allocated a habitat area of 2 kilometers square. The height of each breeding wing must be at least 9 meters. During the metamorphosis period, Foundation personnel must continuously monitor to ensure that SCP-097-KO adults do not escape from the breeding wing. Every May, when SCP-097-KO engages in mating, 1 Class D personnel is introduced into each breeding wing. Class D personnel are instructed to draw a house under the pretense of a psychological test, and the individual who draws the most ordinary and conventional house is selected. When introducing Class D personnel into the breeding wing, they must be gagged and have their limbs restrained to prevent resistance. Additionally, sufficient nutrients must be provided intravenously for the 11-month growth period of the larvae. After approximately 1 month of pupation, once the SCP-097-KO larvae have completed metamorphosis, containment team personnel are deployed to dismantle the collapsed cocoon structures. Since mating occurs again within a week, the following D-class personnel must be introduced immediately. The current procedures are outlined above, consistently require the use of 25 Class D personnel annually. Given the recent trend of decreasing availability of Class D personnel, this fixed expenditure will likely cause a significant burden on personnel procurement. Moreover, the Ethics Committee has issued guidelines to minimize the use of Class D personnel if alternative materials can be used. Therefore, exploring options to replace or reduce human resource consumption, including Class D personnel, is crucial. Additionally, the current procedures allocate over 50 kilometers squared of land to maintain 25 groups. However, SCP-097-KO only utilizes the full 2 kilometer square of space during the 1 month when it constructs its cocoon and prepares for metamorphosis. Considering that the larvae are spatially restricted within the host body during the 11-month larval stage, this represents a significant waste of space. Based on the above analysis, the team has decided to focus on the following aspects of the research on SCP-097-KO. Exploration of environments outside the body, where SCP-097-KO can grow or investigate the potential for recycling hosts, and the estimation of the minimum containment area required that does not hinder SCP-097-KO's growth and reproduction. And there is a whole hecton more of this document that I feel like we probably will not be able to get through in one sitting. But I will link any and all SCPs that we cover tonight in the description of this video, so please do feel free to read them at your leisure. And we will move on to the next one, as I feel we've given this one a good read. SCP-354. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Due to SCP-354's immobile nature, Area 354 has been built around it. Area 354 houses forces and D-Class personnel prepared to deal with threats emerging from SCP-354, as well as researchers studying SCP-354 and its properties. For their own safety, no on-site personnel are to approach SCP-354 at any time. Direct interaction with SCP-354 is permitted only for the purpose of research to eliminate SCP-354 and must be approved by O5 personnel. Area 354 was constructed to contain and neutralize any and all further threats emerging from SCP-354. At the heart of Area 354, a 20-foot wall of concrete reinforced with data has been expunged, has been constructed around SCP-354 to prevent emerging entities from escaping into the area at large. High-speed motion detection cameras are placed atop the wall looking down into the pool, and armed guards can easily shoot down into the enclosure from catwalks placed above the pool. Description: SCP-354 is a pool of red liquid discovered in northern Canada. The liquid is of a consistency similar to that of human blood, hence the colloquial name blood pond, but is not of biological nature. The pool does not have definite banks. Soil mixes with the liquid until, at a certain point, there is more soil than liquid, and the ground is mostly solid. The liquid becomes denser as one descends deeper into the pool. If the pool has a bottom, it has yet to be reached. Periodically, entities emerge from the pool and attempt to escape from the enclosure. Thus far, nearly all creatures emerging from SCP-354 have been extremely hostile and highly dangerous. SCP-354 is believed to have been first discovered in Redacted by survivors of a plane crash who encountered SCP-354 by chance. SCP-354 had developed into a local urban legend long before Foundation personnel arrived to deal with the threat. After locating the source of the legend, SCP personnel set up Watch Station Epsilon 38 to monitor the pool and to deter future travelers from finding it. SCP-354 was classified as Euclid until its properties were further discovered. At 14:03 hours on Redacted, an unidentified entity emerged from SCP-354. Contact with Watch Station Epsilon 38 was lost. Mobile Task Force Redacted was dispatched to deal with the entity and were eventually successful. All personnel at Watch Station Epsilon 38 were found dead. Area 354 was subsequently constructed to contain SCP-354. And we have some documents along with this SCP that I will go through now. Document 3541-A. Partial log of entities to have emerged from SCP-354 prior to the event 354-20. SCP-354-1. Original entity which destroyed Watch Station Epsilon 38 resembled a giant bat, neutralized by Mobile Task Force Redacted. SCP-354-2. Bear-sized mammalian creature covered in razor-sharp spines, resembles an echidna, was virtually bulletproof, but was unable to escape the enclosure surrounding the pool, neutralized via napalm. SCP-354-3. Black metallic sphere capable of levitation, emitted concentrated levels of radiation in precisely directed beams sufficient to instantly cripple and later result in death. Then Area Head Dr. Redacted struck SCP-3543 with a sledgehammer, disabling it. SCP-3543 then self-detonated, causing minor structural damage and severely wounding Dr. Redacted. Dr. Redacted made a full recovery and has been commended for his bravery. Humanoid SCP-3544. A humanoid reptilian creature, approximately 4.6 meters or 15 feet tall, escaped both the walled enclosure and Area 354 altogether. Gunfire caused very little physical harm and was highly ineffective. Mobile Task Force Omega-7, Pandora's Box, was dispatched and was successful in neutralizing the creature. SCP-354-5. Data expunged. SCP-354-6. Appeared to be a human male of Indian descent. As the enclosure around the pool had not yet been fully repaired, SCP-354-6 was immediately shot before it had a chance to escape. Area Head Dr. Redacted has expressed his displeasure in the rash execution of SCP-354-6, which testing revealed to be identical to an average human being. Data corrupt. SCP-354-14. Majority of creature's body remained well beneath the surface of the pool. 5 octopus-like tentacles were seen emerging from the pool and reached up over the enclosure. Several D-Class personnel were grabbed by the tentacles and pulled back beneath the surface of the pool. After receiving massive damage from gunfire, SCP-354-14 retreated back into the pool and disappeared. No personnel taken by the creature were recovered. SCP-354-15. Feline creature composed of a blue-hued crystalline structure, later revealed to be ice, was able to jump above the walled enclosure and was agile enough to dodge most gunfire. was actively hostile and mauled any personnel that engaged it. Subject engaged SCP-354-16 upon its emergence from the pool and was terminated in the fight. SCP-354-16, a feline creature composed of a dark red-black stone, later revealed to be partially solidified magma. Gunfire proved mostly ineffective against its hide, was not hostile to personnel, and did not attempt to escape the walled enclosure until being engaged by SCP-354-15. Successfully terminated SCP-354-15 and grew less active as its body cooled. After fully solidifying and having remained motionless since, subject was moved to Dr. Redacted's office for aesthetic purposes. Nice. SCP-354-18, metallic humanoid machine described by several D-Class personnel as a Terminator. Subject possessed a cloaking device, rendering it invisible to human eyes. Subject was highly adept at combat and killed nearly 90% of Area 354's guard personnel as it rampaged through the facility. Approximately 60 minutes after emerging from the pool, subject ceased function and powered down. Subject was dismantled and its power cell was disposed of. Subject's remains are under study. Note from Area Head, Dr. Redacted. That's thrice now that we've had to fall back on Pandora's box to deal with stuff coming out of SCP-354. Abel can't complain, though. You can tell he enjoyed fighting SCP-354-11. Maybe we should set up some kind of hotline to MTF Omega-7. And that is where we will leave off with this. As there are more documents, again, I will link the SCPs that we go through in the description. And now we shall move on to the next one. Up next, we have SCP-2756. SCP-2756. Object Class: Kedda. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-2756 affected material and personnel are to be restricted solely to SCP-2756-A, 2756-B, and Site Redacted. Personnel found affected by SCP-2756 are to be reassigned to Site Redacted Detail. Affected civilians are to be detained at Site Redacted indefinitely. SCP-2756-A, 2756-B, and Site Redacted are to have a perimeter set up 1 kilometer away from the affected area surrounding each site. Any party attempting to break through the perimeter is to be detained immediately. If said party has made contact with affected material, they are to be detained in Site Redacted. Affected material found outside the perimeter is to be incinerated on location. Communication with the Site Redacted Detail is to be maintained, and supplies are to be dropped in when necessary. Any physical contact with the residents of SCP-2756-A and exploration of SCP-2756-B is restricted to personnel belonging to Site Redacted Detail. All files, logs, and documents are to be electronically filed and transmitted to an active site. Once every 4 weeks, Procedure Kappa 8 is to be carried out. Procedure Kappa 8 entails no less than 15 members of the Site Redacted Detail equipped with flamethrowers enter SCP-2756-B and incinerate hostile SCP-2756-B growths. Description: SCP-2756 is an infection of unknown origin, capable of spreading to both organic and inorganic material. Inorganic material affected by SCP-2756 will begin to deform and grow tendrils or various organs and appendages such as eyes or arms. Said organs and appendages appear to be organic and appear to be resemble human organs. Living subjects that come in contact with SCP-2756 will undergo a mutative process. Over the course of at least 3 weeks, an infected subject will develop growths that will grow into an additional limb or organ. Plant matter appears to grow only sensory organs of various types. All growths originating from SCP-2756 affected material and living subjects appear to be functional. Other than said mutation, the subject's physical health is not affected. Research is still ongoing in order to determine the extent of SCP-2756's invasiveness. Incineration has so far proved to be an effective method of destroying SCP-2756's effect. The method in which SCP-2756 spreads is unknown. SCP-2756-A is a town located in the Redacted Desert. SCP-2756 has spread throughout SCP-2756-A, but has not spread beyond 100 meters from the edge of the town. According to the residents, first sightings of SCP-2756-A began on the 26th of the 5th, 1992. SCP-2756 quickly spread to the rest of the town, and by the 3rd of the 8th, 1992, the whole town had been affected by SCP-2756, and the residents had started mutating. Despite their physical condition, the residents of SCP-2756-A have managed to re-establish a normal lifestyle. See Interview 2756-G5 for details. SCP-2756-A was allowed to recover before it was approached in redacted date. SCP-2756-B is a city located approximately redacted kilometers away from SCP-2756-A. SCP-2756-B appears to have been affected by SCP-2756 as well. However, contact with its residents has not been established. It has been assumed, from the remains of what appears to be human bodies, that the residents have murdered each other in the process of mutation. However, it is difficult to prove this theory due to the fact that SCP-2756's effect may have created what appear to be human remains. Occasionally, growths in SCP-2756-B will become hostile, attempting to assault people who approach the growths. SCP-2756-A was discovered on the 28th of the 6th, 1992, by a recovery team sent from Site Redacted. After Foundation agents within the World Health Organization intercepted a call from SCP-2756-A regarding a strange disease. Any individuals with knowledge regarding SCP-2756 and SCP-2756-A were administered Class C amnestics. The team arrived under the guise of members of the World Health Organization and equipped with standard hazmat suits. But due to SCP-2756's nature, SCP-2756 spread throughout Site Redacted, and by the 7th of the 9th, 1992, the whole of Site Redacted had been affected. I do apologize. The demolishing of Site Redacted was considered, but due to the need of further research regarding SCP-2756, and due to all on-site functions still being operational, Site Redacted was placed under quarantine. Site Redacted now serves as the main research center regarding SCP-2756. SCP-2756-B was discovered in 22nd of 10th, 1992, after a Foundation helicopter dropped in supplies for Site Redacted. The pilot noticed a small city that appeared to have been affected by SCP-2756, approximately redacted kilometers away from SCP-2756-A. Upon informing Site Redacted of the existence of SCP-2756-B, a team of 10 Site Redacted detail members was sent to SCP-2756-B. Upon arrival, the team found SCP-2756-B to be empty, aside from hostile SCP-2756 growths. SCP-2756-B was quarantined without incident, and a cover story involving an epidemic was formulated. And again, there is more to this document. There is the interview that you can read, and once more, I will link any and all SCP files in the description. Okay. Slywolf, welcome on in. Thank you for dropping by. An alarm? I don't think that was... At least I hope that wasn't on my end. That might be something on your end. I hope everything's okay. But welcome on in. Welcome on in. Love SCPs? Thank you for dropping by, because I love SCPs as well. I love SCPs. Always happy to yap and read any unknown SCPs that I have not yet seen, which is the beautiful thing about this stream, because we're doing random pages, unless, of course, someone redeems it. Which it looks like Bweenie has in fact redeemed a reading of 6767. Must have been background. Swear to God, it was in the background, but I couldn't tell. So the only background noise that I have going on right now, for just for the stream's purposes, is just rain ambience. Unless they've, you know, snuck in some alarms in there, which would be real mean of them. But just rain ambience here. So hopefully it's nothing that you need to take care of on your side. If not, then I hope you're able to relax and enjoy the readings. And if you do have an SCP that you would like me to read, there's a channel point redeem called Request an SCP. That's someone else's problem. Good to know. Let's see. Oh, I did just notice that Bommy, you did request an SCP as well. Although this looks more like a story. So I don't know if you're still here, Bommy. Unfortunately, just for the purposes of this streams, to make it easier, we'll only be reading the case files of each SCP. Also, Slywolf, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. Sorry, you don't know. No, don't be sorry. It's all good. So, what you can do is in the top left of the SCP website, there will be 200 short. There will be a there'll be like the 3 horizontal lines that will let you open up a menu, and from there you can then either search for the SCP by series. So I believe series 1 is everything from SCP-1 up to 1000, or 999 in this case. Or you can do what I'm doing, and if you look at the towards the bottom, there's a random section, and you can click random or SCP. If you click random page, that'll just take you to a random page in the whole website. You specifically want SCP. And that's what we are doing. So if you find an SCP that you want me to read, go ahead and use the channel point redeem, and I will read that for you after we read SCP-6767. And that goes for anyone. Okay. Let's see here. What is SCP-6767? Website is a little slow, and you know, as expansive as the SCP Foundation is, bandwidth is not something on their priority list, it seems. Hate that there's an SCP for that. It better not be the meme. Oh no. 6-7. Oh my god. Buini, is the meme why you requested this? It is. I would say mods sees Buini, sees that guy, but unfortunately, she is the head mod, so unfortunately, all hope is lost. All right. Let's get into SCP-6767, or memes withheld. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-6767 is contained in a Type 4 reptilian terrarium at Site-39. Monthly psychological evaluations and interviews are to be scheduled to ensure the continued compliance of SCP-6767 and to minimize the risk of containment and/or information breach. Personnel wishing to schedule interviews with SCP-6767 may file application forms to Dr. Callaghan's office, provided that they have sufficiently familiarized themselves with SCP-6767's known triggers. SCP-6767 has been provided with an isolated computer and modified peripherals for the purpose of transcribing information. Description: SCP-6767 is a small, sapient reptile composed entirely of beryllium bronze alloy. SCP-6767 has exhibited neoteny, and functional immortality via the involuntary shedding of its outermost layer when severely damaged or oxidized, revealing a younger instance of SCP-6767 underneath. 6767 is capable of communication via both vocalization and telepathy, however prefers the former due to the difficulty of evocative telepathy. Due to SCP-6767's being entirely composed of beryllium copper alloy, and the fact it regularly sheds its outermost layer, most radiological dating methods are unfeasible. SCP-6767 has stated that it is currently in its early 4600s, after Dr. Callaghan asked it directly. 6767 claims to have access to the collective memories of all currently deceased individuals. This includes in-depth knowledge in nearly every field of study and craft, esoteric or otherwise, as demonstrated by SCP-6767 when prompted. This is further corroborated by its knowledge of highly classified information. And below we have some interview and incident logs. It would seem that, yeah, we can read a few of these. They're not too long. So the first log, or rather, Addendum 676701. The following logs detail the discovery and subsequent containment of SCP-6767 at Site-39, as well as relevant interview logs. Video log. Incident 6767-01. Begin log. The video shows the Site-39 break room. Doctors Bordeaux, Giannino, and Shida can be seen conversing near the coffee machine. SCP-6767 falls into the room through an overhead air vent, landing in Dr. Shida's coffee cup. Dr. Shida. What the fuck? SCP-6767. Oh, hot. Hello, all. I take it this isn't Dexter's office? Dr. Giannino. You guys are seeing this too, right? Dr. Bordeaux. A talking snake in Shida's coffee? Yeah, I see it. SCP-6767. Would you folks be so kind as to take me to his office? Preferably in this cup of coffee. It's nice here. End log. Note: SCP-6767 was brought to the Site-39 holding facility, where it was granted an audience with Site Director Hoffman at the Site Director's behest. SCP-6767 requested containment, and relevant facilities were prepared shortly following this incident. Audio log. Interview 6767-01. Begin log. Dr. Callaghan. Good evening, SCP-6767. We have some questions for you. SCP-6767. Oh, this is the interview bit, isn't it? Yeah, sure. Fire away, Doc. Dr. Callaghan. For starters, how did you manage to not only locate the site, but also infiltrate the ventilation system without alerting security? Every point of entry to this facility is secure. SCP-6767. Oh, well, you see, I actually knew where this place was from the get-go. Getting in was the hard part. Basically, I had to... Several minutes of SCP-6767 detailing methods to bypass Site-39 security systems expunged. SCP-6767. So, in all, you guys really have to get smaller vent grills. Dr. Callaghan. I suppose I'll have to send this log to security later. What did you mean by you knew where this place was from the get-go? SCP-6767. Got the directions from a few former staff. Don't worry, you guys don't have an information breach. I have access to the memories of the dead, and given Site-39's history with containment breaches, I had quite the cache of information to work with. Dr. Callaghan. You have access to... Sorry, what exactly are you again? SCP-6767. That's easy. I'm an anomalous member of an extinct species of legless lizard of the genus Anguis. No, I'm not some wacky machine or elaborate get-up by some anomalous organization. I'm just a regular reptile who's made of beryllium bronze and knows a thing or two because it's seen a thing or two. Dr. Callaghan. We'll still have to verify those claims, and we certainly do appreciate you narrowing them down for us, but that wasn't exactly what I meant. What do you mean by you have access to the memories of the deceased? SCP-6767. It means that I know everything the dead knew in life. I have their memories, their knowledge. I remember people from the perspective of their family, friends, enemies. I am privy to great secrets, ancient magic, and lost civilizations. I have seen through the eyes of your most brilliant scientists, your most ruthless conquerors, and those that died forgotten. I have seen through your veil from the eyes of those who died behind it. Dr. Callaghan. Alright, that's very interesting, SCP-6767. But again, we still have to verify such SCP-6767. Your father loved you, Henry. He wanted to reconcile with your mother and died in a car accident before he could. It was never his intention to abandon you nor Frederick. All three of you were in his final thoughts. I'm sorry. Silence for 2 minutes. Dr. Callaghan, that was... Thank you for your concern, SCP-6767. End log. And that is where we will leave off with SCP-6767. Moving on to the next SCP. SCP-7003. Containment Class Pending. Special Containment Procedures. Containment is not the priority with SCP-7003. The whereabouts of SCP-7003-1, -2, and -3 should always be known in the event any SCP-7003 instance is needed in any of the world's remaining countries. MTF Omega-4 Horseshoes is on constant alert to monitor or corral the appropriate instance to the jurisdiction with the greatest need, as determined by a majority vote of the O5 Council. Interference with SCP-7003 or Foundation directives regarding their corralling will, at minimum, result in a 50% reduction in water rations. Disinformation regarding their whereabouts is disseminated throughout Foundation plants within major GOIs, not yet aligned with our mission. Information is focused on examples of the incalculable benefit SCP-7003 has, had, and will continue to have for sustaining the remainder of the human race. Reports of SCP-7003 worship are deemed acceptable, provided these remain fringe cases and do not interfere with Foundation directives. Anyone approaching any instance of SCP-7003 who is deemed to interfere with or deviate from established procedure should be terminated with prejudice. SCP-7003 is considered among the Foundation's most significant and highly valued assets. In the event line of sight is lost, locating SCP-7003-1 becomes the Foundation's primary mission. No exceptions. Personnel and equipment will be moved from the nearest strongholds in this event, even if this may result in the stronghold's collapse. Do not lose sight. Description: SCP-7003 denotes three entities resembling Equus ferus specimens, the once common wild horse, and their respective anomalous effects. Each are identifiable by their white pelt and unique area of effect, detailed below. SCP-7003 instances have demonstrated anomalous physical endurance and tolerance to hunger and thirst, with observations showing no need for sleep or sustenance. SCP-7003-1's primary effect is an anomalous, possibly passive ability to summon rainfall. By consent of 95% of the Foundation's governance, a system to harvest rainwater caused by SCP-7003-1 has been established. MTF Omega-1 cup-bearers, comprised out of disbanded MTFs, has been given 3 out of 11 surviving Solidarity ground vehicles, reconfigured with water-collecting capabilities. These vehicles had been rerouted from Supply Line HOG, Supply Line BUL, and the defense of Stronghold 32, resulting in their collapse. As of 2096-02-29, it is estimated that between 63% to 71% of the human population's continued survival is owed to SCP-7003, be it through the guarantee of sustenance, sanitation, or security. First contact was with SCP-7003-1 on March 20th, 2087, after the siege of the Patriots' Eastern Blockade failed. The encounter was recorded after the activation of ENDOL Emergency Distress Beacon ID 41551. Transcript below. Forward. No significant dialogue or notable audible activity was recorded for 41 hours and 35 minutes after the beacon's activation. The below exchange starts then. Begin log. Soldier 1. Where? Why? Ray? Soldier 2. What? Soldier 1. Where are we? There is a long pause. Soldier 2. Home? You can call this home. Soldier 1. Home didn't feel... Was it always this dry? Soldier 2. I don't remember being anywhere else. I don't know. Maybe it was always desert. Always desert. Every direction. Forever. On and on. Soldier 1. Order. Please. Ray. Please. No reply. Soldier 1. Who is this fucking beacon for, man? No reply. Soldier 1. Who the fuck is gonna... Soldier 2. Fuck. Ollie. Don't talk. Soldier 1. Right. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Silence and muffled whimpering. Soldier 2. Dust? Is that dust? Something out there alive and kicking up dust? Soldier 1. Dust is fucking everywhere. From here to the west coast and everything in between. I can't. My fucking leg. Ollie. Shut up. Possible contact on horizon, headed straight for us. Clattering of metal. Groaning is audible. Soldier 2, mumbling. Come on. Today, make it today. Please, God, make it today. Long silence. Soldier 1. What? The distress beacon picks up coarse chuckling. Soldier 1. Ray, what? Soldier 2. It's a horse. It's a horse. They sent us a horse to save 100 dead men. There's a long, slow sigh. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Are you? Soldier 1. Whatever. Soldier 2. Oh my god. Oh my god. Muffled slapping sounds. Soldier 1. Leave me alone, man. Soldier 2. Look. Open your eyes. Come and see. Soldier 1. No. Soldier 2. Oh, yes, you will. Here, maybe someone else. Wake up, you sons of bitches. Wake up. Clouds. And then there is the sound of rain. Soldier 2. Fine. Whatever. None of you fucking matter. Ollie, we're going after it. Oh my god, I'm committing my life to the cloth after this. Oh my god. Soldier 1. Give me some water, you... Let me sleep. Soldier 2. It's a fucking miracle. Don't ask why, just follow the fucking miracle out of this fucking desert. Get up! We're going after it. There's nothing for us here, not for years. We're gonna be okay. I'll help. Come on. Arm around my shoulder, one step at a time. Come on. Sounds of a minor struggle are muffled by wind and rain. More and more rain. Soldier 1. Okay. Rainfall becomes heavy enough that no other sounds are audible. The distress beacon continues to record the sound of rainfall for 17 hours until the unit's solar battery fails. End log. Closing statement. On receiving notice of possible anomalous water source, Ash Tollins, transcriber of surviving Endor beacon IDs 40,000 through 50,000, immediately submitted a hard copy of the recording to the O5 Council. Shortly after, Foundation forces abandoned the defense of Stronghold 7, resulting in its collapse and loss of the populace. Pursue and contain SCP-7003-1. Most of the fallen were found around the abandoned siege camp. However, a body with a severe laceration to their Achilles tendon was located 6 kilometers from the beacon, an additional 1.8 kilometer away. Foundation personnel discovered a dried corpse surrounded by desert. Cause of death, uncertain, likely exposure, not dehydration. The transcriber requested a copy of the sound of rain for personal use, prompting a review for possible mimetic effects, despite none being discovered. Request was declined. Recording of rainfall may be lent to Foundation personnel who have distinguished themselves through feats of heroism. After an exhaustive, multi-week-long search, SCP-7003-1 was tracked 14 kilometers southwest of Foundation Stronghold 4. Located in the northeastern American region of the Coalition of North American Nations, CNAN. During the search, SCP-7003-1 generally moved away from personnel, also demonstrating an ability to demanifest if threatened or approached too closely. These simple rules laid the groundwork for corralling the anomaly. The Foundation set about to collect and distribute water amongst the high-priority populations and defense forces. Rain is not continuous, but it is without a doubt more common near SCP-7003-1 than anywhere else. Constant knowledge of SCP-7003-1's location and the collection of water is essential for survival. Requests for current whereabouts of SCP-7003-1 require Level 5 security clearance or authorization from 2 members of the O5 Council. And we will leave SCP-7003 there. Okay. Up next, we have SCP-5583. Containment Class Euclid. Disruption Class Dark. Risk Class Warning. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5583 is held in a humanoid containment cell at Site-43. It is to be provided with several arcade cabinets acquired from the defunct Costa Mesa, California franchise location of the Pizza Palace restaurant chain. SCP-5583 is permitted to periodically exit its containment cell under an armed guard when not undergoing testing, so long as a specialized sheath is fitted over its horn. Description: SCP-5583 is an animatronic figure associated with the American restaurant chain Pizza Palace. It measures 1.8 meters in height and has the appearance of an anthropomorphic unicorn wearing a magenta wig and a pink tutu. A plastic purple star wand covered in glitter is attached to its left palm. Beyond dried grease and mucus stains on its legs, SCP-5583 is in a good state of repair. SCP-5583 is sapient and capable of more advanced mobility than its mechanical components should allow. It is able to communicate via a speaker within its mouth, using both masculine Scottish and feminine English accents, displaying a marked preference for the former. SCP-5583 also possesses the following minor anomalous attributes: the ability to process food via a hatch in its mouth. Though SCP-5583 claims it is capable of digestion, internal analysis reveals no digestive system and no traces of previous meals are evident. The production of clouds of luminescent glitter when the star in its wand strikes solid matter. Frame-by-frame video analysis reveals that the glitter peels off from the wand itself and immediately self-illuminates before disappearing and reappearing on the wand. The manifestation of wings on its back at will. Said wings are organic, resembling those of Danaus plexippus, the monarch butterfly, at both structural and genetic levels. Due to SCP-5583's weight and the short span of its wings, it is incapable of flight. The emission of beams of refracted light from the tip of its horn. SCP-5583 is capable of heating matter by concentrating these beams at a specific target, up to and including the point of combustion. The Tutu has so far proven indestructible and cannot be removed. Discovery. On the 6th of the 3rd, 2019, SCP-5583 became known to the Foundation following an incident occurring at a Pizza Palace restaurant in Costa Mesa, California. Customer inadvertently provoked SCP-5583 as it was performing, resulting in it breaking character and causing a public disturbance before exiting the premises. The incident was reconstructed using footage from security cameras and cell phones recovered from the patrons. Ooh, let's give this a read. Video log of the 6th of the 3rd, 2019. Camera 4. Skippy stage. Children are operating arcade cabinets and playing in the aisles. A costumed employee is entertaining them with waving hands and dancing. Families are seated and consuming their meals. A single stage light activates, illuminating the Sir Leaps-a-Lot animatronic, a humanoid frog, on stage. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. Greetings, fellow knights of the dinner table. It is I, Sir Leaps-a-Lot. Trumpets sound from off-stage. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. The Prince of the Hour has arrived. Everybody, give a big round of applause to the birthday inaudible. Most patrons are ignoring the animatronic. A child slips on the floor, falls down, and begins to cry. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. Great! Love that energy. Now, before we get this pizza party started, I've got someone very special for you to meet. Coming to us all the way from Magic Land, the most powerful fairy alive, the one and only. Give it up for Skippy, the unicorn. Sir Leaps-a-Lot's head rotates to face off stage. It continues rotating until it is facing backward. Two seated, swaying men laugh loudly, attempt and fail to clink their glasses together and drink. One upsets a full cup of soda on the table. An employee mopping up at the adjacent table sighs, dragging his mop toward the new spill. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. Looks like Skippy is feeling a bit shy. I know. Let's motivate her with a little cheer. Skippy! The audience is largely silent. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. Louder, kids. She can't hear us. Skippy! The audio briefly square waves on the final word, and several adults place their hands on their ears, grimacing. Children standing by the stage jump up and down, cheering. One attempts to climb up, but is quickly discouraged by an adult. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. One more time, knights. Skippy! The curtain opens on Skippy's stage, revealing SCP-5583. Its eyes open, and it begins to move, jerkily, and speak with a female English accent. SCP-5583. Why, hello there, brave children and friends. It is I, Skippy. One of the men whispers in the other's ear. The latter snorts. The first man finishes his drink, and they both stand up. SCP-5583. High-pitched titter. So terribly sorry to be late to your most excellent party, boys and girls. Ferry traffic was phenomenal on the Rainbow Road. Two men approach the stage, brushing several children aside. Sir Leapsalot's head rotates back around. Sir Leapsalot, we're just glad you're here, Skippy. Say, don't you have something to tell these fine folks? SCP-5583. Oh, why yes, Sir Lixalot. One male parent laughs. Once. Several others turn to stare at him. SCP-5583. As the guest of honor at this finest of all fine castles, I must sing a song. Behold, the music of my people. SCP-5583 begins to sing in an off-key falsetto. One of the men snickers, fumbling with his cell phone. SCP-5583, on your very special day. First man, come on, do it, do it. SCP-5583, we're so glad you came to play. Second man, I'm trying. First man, oh dude, Tyler's gonna laugh his ass off when we show him. SCP-5583, we all share your birthday cheer. The second man extends his phone beneath SCP-5583's tutu and takes a photograph. SCP-5583. Birthdays come but once. The fuck? You sick son of a bitch. SCP-5583 is now speaking in a male Scottish accent. It kicks the cell phone across the room and shoves the folds of its tutu between its legs. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You sick fuck. Everyone in the room has now directed their attention to SCP-5583. SCP-5583. You. Why? I can't believe you've done this. You sick motherfucker. SCP-5583 jumps down from the stage, breaking the tiles, and lifts the second man up by his collar. SCP-5583. You degenerate. After all the lousy songs I sang to you, drunk and giddy fucksticks, this is how you repay me? Upskirting? Do they not have the internet in whatever shithole burg you crawled out from? SCP-5583 grabs the back of the second man's head and presses their foreheads together. A dark stain spreads down the man's pants. SCP-5583. Somebody needs to teach you about manners, son, and I have a song that might help. Camera 9. Security room. First technician. The fuck is Buddy in the costume doing? He's gonna get us all shit-canned. Second technician. Dude? Do we even have any Skippy costumes? Camera 4. Skippy stage. First man. Dude, it was just a dare. Calm down. SCP-5583. Ah, so you're the asshole pulling the strings. SCP-5583 releases the second man, who drops to the floor and flees. Turns to the first man, who backs away slowly. SCP-5583. Calm down, he says. Ha, like hell. Couple of disgusting voyeurs. Thought I was a filly. You feeling let down? Huh? SCP-5583 grabs the first man by both shoulders. How about I return the favor? How about I go find that phone and take a picture of my own? The first man is weeping. SCP-5583. Deep up your ass. A slice of pizza smacks wetly into the side of SCP-5583's head, slides off and falls to the floor. SCP-5583 sighs and turns its face to look at a small child wearing a paper crown. The child is frowning. and he crosses his arms. SCP-5583. Thanks for the snack. Child, leave my daddy alone, you poopy head, or I'll call Mom. SCP-5583. Don't kids say the darndest things? SCP-5583 releases the first man, approaches the child, and crouches to his eye level. SCP-5583. So, poopy head, is it? Very creative. What inspired you? Was it popping out your mama 8 years ago when she last took a dump, you little shit? The customers are now forming a crowd near the stage. A middle-aged woman approaches SCP-5583, pointing at it. Woman, hey, you can't talk to my son like that. Who do you think you are? SCP-5583. I'm Skippy, Karen. It's in all the ad material. Go harass the cashier or something. Woman, how do you know my name? Silence. SCP-5583. Wait. You're actually? SCP-5583 begins to laugh. My God, the joke became reality. I'd laugh harder, but I hate gross-out humor. Woman, how dare you? I'll have you fired for this. SCP-5583. Kiss my ass, you miserable. Can't say that word. The assembled adults gasp, except for an elderly woman who continues to eat at her table. The children appear confused. SCP-5583. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I offend you? Let me rephrase. SCP-5583 switches to its female English voice. Kiss my ass, you miserable. Redacted. That sugarcoat is enough for you? A manager approaches SCP-5583. He taps it on the shoulder. Manager, whoever you are so fired. Leave the costume, get your stuff, and go. Out. Out. SCP-5583, resuming its male Scottish voice. What? No, I can... Actually, you know what? Fuck you, Derek. SCP-5583 pokes the manager in the chest. You haven't paid me since day one, and you can't fire me, because I quit. First, I've got some parting words. Starting with you. SCP-5583 points at each of the children in turn. You little brats ruin this place for everyone, crying and shouting and screaming all day long. Making your little messes. Breaking my favourite game. God, I'd feel so bad for your parents if they weren't such complete asshats. Wouldn't blame them if they decided to just shove you back where you came from. SCP-5583 points at each of the adults in turn. And don't even get me started on you fuckers. You're somehow even worse. Getting drunk, getting into fistfights over who gets to ride the helicopter or sneak out back for a smoke. Not to mention those shitwits we're up to. SCP-5583 points at the two men who are speaking to a security guard near the exit. In fact, what genius thought it was a good idea to serve booze at a kiddie restaurant? You revolt me. You revolt me, all of you. Sir Leaps-a-Lot. That was a magnificent song, Skippy. Music to my ears. SCP-5583. SCP-5583 points at Sir Leaps-a-Lot. Yes, thank you, thank you. At least someone in this dump has a good head on his shoulders. As for you, SCP-5583 points at the manager. Normally, I'd tell you to suck my pizza-stained, snot-stained, out-of-date, actually non-existent dick. But knowing you, you'd probably like that. The manager. What? SCP-5583. I know what you do for recreation on your office computer. All I can say is, you need church, boy. SCP-5583 leans towards the manager's ear and stage whispers, and an exorcism. The manager backs away, his eyes wide and mouth open. SCP-5583 moves towards the exit. SCP-5583. So long, folks. Oh, by the way, they reuse the food from the trash to save money. Trust me, I've seen it myself. The elderly woman drops her fork and spits the chewed-up food onto her plate. SCP-5583. Thanks for 30 years of nothing, everyone. I'm out of here. SCP-5583 pulls the tiara from its head and throws it to the crowd. Sweet freedom. Here I come. SCP-5583 slams open the doors and leaves the premises. Recording ends. Addendum. Agents from Mobile Task Force Pi-1 City Slickers responded to the incident and amnesticized all relevant parties. SCP-5583 was found at a local train station and captured after some resistance. An investigation into Pizza Palace revealed that the animatronics at all other locations were non-anomalous, and no further paranormal activity has been reported since the containment of SCP-5583. Cameras at the Costa Mesa location were installed by an employee acting of his own initiative. When interviewed, he outlined his suspicion that SCP-5583 was in fact alive, which he had expressed fruitlessly to his co-workers. With permission from the manager, he had purchased the cameras and placed them around the building's interior. Footage from the night before the incident showed SCP-5583 activating after the restaurant closed and interacting with many of the attractions. Only the stage cameras were capable of recording audio. And we will leave this one here, as this next addendum is also quite a long one. And that was SCP-5583. Again, this will be posted in the description of the VOD on YouTube. So, if you wanted to read the rest of the file, which I highly encourage you to do, you can read it there. The final reading for tonight will be SCP-5993. SCP-5993. Containment class Euclid, which has been struck through and edited to Formial. Special containment procedures. SCP-5993 is to be kept in a refrigerated, high-value object storage locker in the medical wing of Reliquary Area 27. SCP-5993-1 instances should be retrieved from it weekly and stored in a sterile, refrigerated container for no more than 2 weeks, at which point they should be disposed of via incineration. Any personnel assigned to Reliquary Area 27, including D-Class personnel, are to consume 1 dosage of SCP-5993-1 during their standard pre-transfer medical exam, and at 1-year intervals thereafter. Personnel assigned to Reliquary 27 who manifest any of the symptoms detailed in Documents 5993-D are to report to the medical department immediately for an emergency dose of SCP-5993-1 and should be placed on off-site medical leave for no less than 2 weeks. Previous containment procedures obsolete as of the 23rd of the 5th, 2005. Description: SCP-5993 is a hive of insects superficially resembling Apis mellifera, western honeybees, inhabiting the corpse of a human male. SCP-5993 resides within the corpse's chest cavity, having built its hive within the corpse's respiratory system. SCP-5993's anomalous properties manifest during the production of honey. Through a poorly understood ritualistic practice, SCP-5993 forego standard pollination and instead convert members of their colony into basic organic substances. SCP-5993's first target a member of their hive and swarm them, vibrating their bodies to increase their internal temperature until the death of the swarmed instance. SCP-5993 then open the carapace of the deceased insect, revealing its interior to be filled with nectar and pollen. SCP-5993 harvests these materials before using the remaining exoskeleton to fortify the hive. If removed from their hive, SCP-5993 are either unable or unwilling to enact this pollination method, and will return to their hive or die of malnutrition. SCP-5993-1 collectively refers to all honey produced by SCP-5993. SCP-5993-1 collectively refers to all honey produced by SCP-5993. SCP-5993-1 constantly absorbs ambient Akiva radiation. The rate of absorption is directly proportional to SCP-5993-1's proximity to SCP-5993, with the most absorption occurring within the hive itself and completely ceasing outside of Reliquary Area 27. Once SCP-5993-1 has absorbed a sizable amount of Akiva radiation, SCP-5993 will immediately consume it and begin the conversion process once more. SCP-5993-1 will also lose all anomalous properties after 2 weeks of active absorption, unless consumed. When consumed by a living organism, SCP-5993-1 will coat the walls of the digestive system and absorb all Akiva radiation within their body. As such, SCP-5993-1 will effectively eliminate an organism's ability to consort with, become host to, or otherwise be influenced by divine entities. Clairvoyants who have consumed SCP-5993-1 are universally unable to communicate with deities, reporting hostile refusals to request for guidance and advice. Prophetic individuals have also reported difficulty in making accurate predictions, as their visions are obscured by a thick golden filter and are overwhelmed by sharp, prickling sensations. Attempts at spiritual healing by affected individuals have instead induced swelling and hives rather than mending. These effects will persist so long as SCP-5993-1 remains within the subject, with 240 milliliters of SCP-5993-1 completely exiting the human body 1 year after consumption. Discovery: SCP-5993 was first discovered following the disappearance of Marcus Ambrose, a Foundation consultant on the containment of theological anomalies stationed at Reliquary Area 27. Prior to his disappearance, personnel revealed that Ambrose had begun to take a more aggressive approach towards containment, having taken a distinct interest in deicidal groups and belief systems. Personal documentation shows that Ambrose claimed to have made a significant breakthrough in his research, although little on the discovery was elaborated on. Ambrose was later seen driving in the direction of a religious shrine he frequented, located in a small patch of dense woodlands. Mobile Task Force ETA 77, Spheres Within Spheres, was dispatched to the location, where they discovered Ambrose's corpse completely swarmed by members of SCP-5993. Investigation revealed an abandoned beehive near the shrine's central dais, and is believed to have been tended to by Ambrose prior to his death. How SCP-5993 took residency within Ambrose is unknown, as no signs of forced entry have been found. An investigation conducted by the Department of Tactical Theology revealed several transcribed passages from various religious texts repeated throughout Ambrose's personal research notes. These passages are believed to have some relation to SCP-5993 and its method of Akiva consumption, and have been transcribed below. When Samson returned later to take her, he left the road to see the lion's carcass, and in it was a swarm of bees, along with their honey. Their honey cried out to be eaten, with offerings of power over fate itself to Samson. It offered a power so great, even the Lord would cry out in fear at his strength. The bees hummed with temptation, speaking of the honey's fortitude and immense power over all. Samson fell back, calling out to the Lord to bring these insects to justice, to deliver them with righteous fury. But no deliverance was given, as Samson merely watched the insects vacate their lifeless home and ascend upwards, bringing their foul offers with them. Judges 14:8. So, I spoke to you, but you would not listen. You rebelled against the command of the Lord and presumptuously went up into the hill country. Then the Amorites who lived in the hills came out against you, and lo, they released upon you a swarm of bees. The bees would sting and prick to draw welts to your flesh and score your skin. You wept before the Lord, but he could not listen to your voice or give ear to you, for you belonged to the bees. And the Lord could not stop their attack without drawing their ire himself. You were sapped of your energy and your forgiveness, and left punctured and desiccated, drained of his light. For this reason, you stayed in Kadesh for a long time. A very long time. Deuteronomy 1:4-3 to 4:5. And the final excerpt. And your Lord built the honeybees' cells in hills, on trees, and in the habitations of man, taught them to maintain their hives, and that their existence was merely to be confined. But your Lord lived in fear of the bees. He knew of the dangers they posed to him, and determined them unworthy of freedom. From what is within their bodies, between excretions and blood, they produce the nectar and dander kept from them by your Lord. They harnessed this bounty and produced succulents of the earth, the succulents of honey. They struck terror into your Lord and drove their stingers into him. They gave him the hives that they were forced into and made his throat swell with welts of fury, for they have no mercy for their captor. The Quran 16.68 to 69. These passages have since been removed from all widely available religious texts and replaced with more suitable variations. Incident Report 5993-CK. On the 4th of the 23rd, 2020, a member of D-Class personnel being transferred to Reliquary Areas 27 had unknowingly been harboring EE-09739 within her body. After showing aggression towards the administration of SCP-5993-1, she was restrained and administered a standard dosage. She immediately began to convulse, with large red welts appearing across her skin. This was mostly centered around the neck and upper torso, with the D-Class attempting to scratch at her neck between convulsions. Throughout the incident, an unknown voice, believed to be that of EE-09739, was audible, violently choking and gagging. Despite immediate intervention by medical personnel and the administration of several epinephrine dosages, the D-Class personnel expired. Post-incident analysis also found that EE-09739 had become similarly unresponsive, and attempts to rouse it from its relic proved unsuccessful. Despite displaying symptoms of severe anaphylaxis, the D class had lacked any allergy to bee venom and had reportedly been stung several times prior to incarceration. The allergenic profile of EE-09739 is currently unknown, but is believed to match that of other theological entities. Addendum 5993.3. Following approval by Site Command, plans to utilize SCP-5993 in the containment of dangerous theological entities has been enacted. Members of MTF-ETA-77 have been provided with handheld gas grenades containing a crystalline form of apian alarm pheromones. Operatives are to deploy these during hostile situations, upon which MDV-Hive, Cleopatra's Coffin, is to be deployed. MDV-Hive is a repurposed mobile deployment vehicle outfitted with several mobile apiaries capable of supporting 15 separate hives of SCP-5993. These apiaries are designed to remotely deploy SCP-5993, allowing them to swarm the nearest perceived threat. Gear carried by ETA-77 is routinely coated in a thin layer of recognition pheromones before deployment, making them functionally invisible to SCP-5993 as to prevent unintended injury. Each operative has also been provided a single epinephrine injection and has been trained in their usage. Due to the limited number of SCP-5993 at the Foundation's disposal, MDV-Hive is only to be used during Connect-level events or higher. Complete implementation of Apian-based weaponry is expected to take until 2034 to be fully realized. Despite this, the Department of Tactical Theology are hopeful that a handheld variant of the MDV-Hive, described as similar to a design of a fragmentation grenade but with bees, will be developed